Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to a new video. So today we're going to take the little 300 out on the highway. Because everyone wants to know, can a 300cc handle the highway? Well, I got a story for you guys after we hit the highway about the little 250 that could. But first, let's go hit the highway. Now keep in mind, this is rush hour traffic on a Tuesday at 6 p.m. on the little KLX300 supermoto. So we're in 5th gear now, shifting into 6th, passing semis already. I can't make any promises that the wind noise is not going to be absolutely horrible at these speeds, but we're going to make the video anyway. Alright, so we're cruising at 86 right now, 87, 88, 89, we're going to hit 90. Oh, we hit 90. And this bike is actually geared down, just so you, I'm sorry, geared up. Geared down, geared up, I'm totally lost right now. I literally just met that officer at the gas station, and he was like, I just bought a GoPro from a guy, and he was telling me to buy this like netting cargo thing to strap it down with, because I have it literally like bungee corded down right now. It's go ghetto. I forgot my backpack at the house, and I found a super good deal on a new GoPro, so wanted to buy that. And yeah, so now I am taking the highway back home to get home before dark. So I'm about an hour from home right now. So yeah, I figured I'd take the highway, make a little video on it, show you guys that the little 300cc can actually handle the highway. And the thing is about it is you don't have to go 95 on the highway on a bike. I mean, obviously, yes, you can, and it is much faster, obviously. But you can just cruise in the middle lane or even the slow lane. I could probably get in the slow lane and do like 70 all day long, and nobody would care. But if you want, even on a 300, get over here in the fast lane, start making some passes, start catching a draft from the 18-wheeler. Yeah, this is a 300cc, basically dual sport supermoto that'll do 90 miles an hour with ease. Downhill we might hit 91, 92, 93. I think that's gonna be it for this gearing on this bike right now. I have a 39 tooth rear sprocket on here right now, so she's not gonna do much more than that. And that's downhill. Cruising, I can cruise at like 85. It's not exactly comfortable, but you can do it for sure. So I'm not gonna be a douche and sit in the fast lane the whole entire time, because I know I'm gonna get passed by a Ram 1500. So yeah, I can just cruise in the middle lane at like say 80 all day long, no issues. A 300 can handle the highway, guys. I see so many comments about, can this bike handle this? Can this bike handle that? The bike can handle it. Can you handle it? Alright guys, we are off the highway, obviously, for certain reasons, as in, yeah, this is a lot more fun than a highway. Although we're stuck behind a Ram. What did I say earlier? I was going to get passed by a Ram, now I'm stuck behind a Ram. No big deal though. So, I wanted to talk about my little 250 that could. So, I know this video is going to be based on a 300, but about 11 years ago roughly, I bought a 2012 Honda CBR 250R. Before they came out with the 300R, I bought the 250R, and I bought it brand new. And my whole deal with this bike was having something that got, you know, 70 miles per gallon, which was incredible. 70 or 80, it was insane. It was a lot. It was an astronomical amount of miles per gallon. And so yeah, I bought the bike and I had it for probably about 9 months or so. But during the time that I had it, I actually took it on a 1,300 mile trip from Tampa, Florida to Fayetteville, North Carolina, which if you're in the military, you might be familiar with Fort Bragg, one of the biggest bases in the world. So yeah, I took it on a 1,300 mile trip from Tampa to Fort Bragg, which is near where I grew up. I grew up about 20 minutes south of Fort Bragg. And I gotta say, that little 250 did phenomenal. And it's funny because a lot of people will buy, you know, like a 1000 or whatnot. And obviously, yeah, there are benefits to having a bigger bike, especially on a highway. You have more passing power. You have a lot of things to your advantage. It's a lot more comfortable typically. It's easier. It's gonna cruise and not buzz the entire time. Like, little bikes are definitely gonna buzz. Just because their engines are just like, you're just revving the heck out of the engine the entire time, which isn't always a bad thing, but when you're doing it for 12 to 13 hours straight, it can get pretty tiring. But the point of this video was to make a point that a 300 or like even a 250, hell, I've seen pictures and videos of guys taking like Z125s and Groms across the freaking United States, which is like 3,000 miles one way. So the thing is it can be done. Is it reasonable? Probably not always, especially on like a 125, but a 250, 300, 400, all of those bikes can handle highway speeds. They can handle long distance driving. And like I said, I had that bike for 9 months, never really had an issue with it. The only issue I ever had with my CBR 250 was that sometimes I would come to a stop, or like a stoplight, I would come to a stop, and when I would, the bike would be in neutral, and I could not get it to go into first gear unless I rolled it forward a little bit, and it drove me a little bit crazy because I'm like, here I am buying this brand new bike, and I'm having a little bit of issues with it. Not like it was a big deal, but you know, when you buy something brand new, you expect it to be flawless, perfect, right? And people wonder why I don't commute on my bike very often. Look at that Volkswagen on its side over there. Absolutely thrashed. Alright, so another case in point of why I don't exactly like riding on the street that much. Ah, man, it's insane. Welcome to Florida. So yes, 300 cc's, 250 cc's, all those bikes can do whatever you're capable of handling. Now, I've heard people say they've taken 600s on long road trips and say that it's not enough power or whatever. And the thing is, you have to gauge your bike and like plan your trips according to how much power you have. And the thing is like my CBR 250, it can handle highway speeds. I think that bike would do like 100 miles an hour. Like, you know, tucked in, obviously. This bike won't do that. This bike will do like 90 tucked in at best. And that bike would do, you know, 100. I think I hit like 105 on it or something like that. Something silly. And, you know, it would cruise at like, you know, 70, 75 all day long. But the thing is I didn't want to take it on the highway because I didn't want to get beat up the entire time. And that's the thing about little bikes, is you will get beat up on the highway if it's long distance. Now, commuting, you know, 10, 20 miles a day each way is not really that big of a deal. But if you're on the highway for, you know, hundreds and hundreds of miles like I was, it's definitely going to beat you up, and that's where the comfort of a big bike comes in. Also, typically with big bikes, you get bigger gas tanks. Like, for instance, this 300cc only has a 2-gallon gas tank, and I can get like, you know, 120 miles is kind of pushing it. I get about 55, 60 miles per gallon with this. No complaints there. But you're gonna have to stop every, you know, hour and a half or so to fill up, which isn't always the worst thing, because when you're riding a bike long distance and whatnot, it is like beneficial to pull over and rest and all those things. Like when I first started getting into touring years ago, you know, I would, you know, tip off my top of my Ninja 650 like as high as it would possibly go, and I would just try to go as long and as far as I could in one run. And I don't know what I could get, maybe 160 miles per tank back then on that Ninja 650. And being on the bike for 2 hours straight plus on the highway is pretty exhausting, I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun doing that kind of riding. I would never go back and do anything different. Like, I had some phenomenal memories with my dad, with other friends of mine, Eric and Ben, and just a lot of good times. But kind of getting off the topic here. But I just wanted to make a point that the bike can handle it. It's you that has to be able to handle it. And if you plan your trips accordingly, like when I took my 250cc to North Carolina, I barely took the highway. I think like it was one way, it's like 630 miles, and I think maybe 200 of those miles were on the highway. And other than that, it was on like back roads that were like 55, 60 mile an hour speed limits. And with people going 65, 70, and your bike can say do 100 on a 250 or 300cc, you still have a good amount of passing power. Now when you're on the highway and you're doing, you know, 80 is your cruising speed, you don't have a lot of horsepower and ponies to get you past people. So those are just things to think about. I hope this video helps some of you guys out there trying to make a decision. Don't let people persuade you away from a small bike because of what they ride and their preferences, because small bikes are a lot of fun. You're talking to somebody who has been riding for, you know, a decade and a half, and I've owned 7 or 8 different bikes, and I've probably ridden close to 30 or 40 bikes total. And I've ridden everything from like a Z125 up to like a ZX14. So I've ridden a lot of bikes, and I will still say to this day, small bikes are more fun on the street, hands down. That's just truth. Alright guys, signing off. Peace, ride safe, and we'll see you in the next video.